It is the finals day of the tournament, and it is going to be a crazy set of games today. We've got semifinals and the finals ahead of us, and then the entire tournament will be wrapped. My name is T Panda, and I will be your host and caster for today's games. And we are, of course, doing it straight from the heart of the Ulti Esports, their own studio. So let's see that we're going to get everything looking really good today, and hopefully the games are also going to be very interesting as well. But I think you guys are eager to see what's been happening so far, so let's take a quick look at what the bracket looks like. And as you can see from here, we've had some player invitations straight into the group seedings, and we've had some open qualifiers and elimination rounds to bring out the best players around the world here. The groups went all the way from A to H, and only 16 of them made it through into the playoffs. We've had the quarterfinals played out as well, and now we're at the final stage. 2 semifinals, best of 5s, and a best of 7 finals ahead of us. Let's look at the first matchup that we have here for today. In the Ulti Clash League, we've got Shadow representing Romania, and the team outplayed. He's got 17 wins, 11 losses. He's gone through quite a lot of matches up till this point, and he will be going up against a very strong player, Max. If you take a look at how many wins he has compared to the losses, so that is a crazy good statistic there for this man. And we're looking if this German guy is going to be able to take down the Romanian Shadow. We'll see what's going to happen in this matchup. This will be the first semifinals we will be playing today. And of course, our prize pool, we are going to get some hundreds of euros for all the players who managed to make it all the way to the top 3. So we won't be showing the bronze game on stream, but we will be informing you what's going to be the result between these matches. However, on the stream, we're going to have a lot of very interesting matches as well. It's been a bit of a while since I've been with Clash Royale, so if somebody thinks who the heck is this T Panda guy, I was in Los Angeles about half a year ago, and that was actually my first time casting Clash Royale. So please forgive me if I have something that's not going to be quite on point. I will try my best here to keep you guys entertained throughout this entire final day. We are still waiting for the signal to start for our first semifinals matchup. Shouldn't be taking that too long. However, the players, they've had the chance to have a ban before the series, so they got to choose one of the units, one of the cards to be taken out, and one of them will be banned just before the start as well, to get a little evening up matchup for themselves there. We still don't quite have the stats for the bans, but we will be hopefully getting them to you as soon as possible. We're doing this all the way here from the northern cold country. Well, not really cold. It's actually been a pretty horrible winter here in Finland. But you know, spring is already making its way. It feels like it could have been a lot colder than what it probably should have been. Still no sign yet of the start, but Shadow and Max in our first semi-final matchup of this day, taking up against each other. I wonder also, once we get into the game itself and see what kind of approaches both of these players are going to be taking. Are we going to see some very aggressive starts, going straight into a rush? Are we going to wait for a couple seconds until either of the players make a move? Sometimes you manage to get that such hype-containing match where we wait all the way till the last minute starts when we get the double elixirs running, and both players just start spamming cards at each other. We also get the cards revealed at the same time as the game progresses. I see my producer's doing a little trick here. I noticed that I wasn't even on camera there for a second, but that's cool. Hopefully you guys are going to enjoy the games today. Here sponsored by Ulti Esports, and the Ulti Clash League will also come to an end after what happens today. I wonder if I could let me see what my producer still, he's not waving his hand yet. Not sure if they're having a little bit of a delay there with the start. Shouldn't probably take too long to get the games up and running. And by the looks of it, we're actually getting information on our first bans as well. Let's see what we have here. So by the looks of it, our pre-bans from Shadow, we've got the Baby Dragon. And from Max's side, with the good old Finnish Pekkaniska, the Pekka, taken out as well. And of course, the second ban should be coming in just in a few seconds as well. So both of these players get to choose one before the series and one just before the start until we get the match up and running. And by the looks of it, the producer says that we're just about ready to start the matchup itself. So I think we could start slowly sliding into the game view and see. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm seeing right now. I think the guys are ready to start the match as well. And I'm eager to see what these two guys can pull off. It's a best of 5 between Shadow from Romania and Max from Germany. One of them will be going into the finals, into the best of 7 to compete for that victory prize, the first crowned victor of the Ulti Clash League. The other one will have to go all the way through the bronze match, and you know, it's a grudge match at that point, since only one of them is going to end up having money in their pocket. The other one will be left completely empty-handed, and considering how many players we've had in this entire tournament, it would be a shame to be dropped into 4th place. But it's not an entire walk of shame, though, because, you know, you've proved yourself and you've pulled yourself all the way through to the top 4 players of the tournament. So that is a feat in itself. Hopefully you guys are still hanging in there. Don't disappear anywhere. It looks like we're ready to go. And let's rock this first game in this best of 5. We've got Shadow and we've got Max. Shadow playing on the bottom side and Max on the top. Both are running on full 10 elixir. And now we're just waiting for either player to make their first move. And this is like the most anticipating part of the game, because we don't know which cards these guys have that will be revealed in time. And then we have our first unit on the board by Shadow. Let's see if Max is going to respond on the right side, as he will. He will send a dragon heading that way. These units will meet up. Are we going to go for a full charge on the right side, as the dragon is taking a bit of damage, but that is, you know, that's a very tanky unit to take down. Will be challenged by another dragon. And a very heavy push coming in from the right side. Very good fireball usage there as well, but already taking a bit of towers. Shadow's right side tower. And an elixir golem has been dropped out by Shadow and is making his way all the way to the tower. Will get knocked out. Doesn't seem to get any hits out. A couple, though. That's a couple hundred damage dealt on the tower. 1 minute and 40 seconds still up and running. We've got a lot of barbarians heading their way. Another archer will be spawned. And the archer tower is just having no problem at all, just clearing out all of these barbarians. And finally, we got some activity going on the left side. But it doesn't look like Max really needs to put any pressure on the left side at all. He will just allow a couple hits onto his tower. He will be fine with this. However, 1700 HP still remaining. That dragon is doing quite a lot of damage. And when you get the usage here, there's got a lot of action happening here. The fireball doesn't quite connect as the way he would have hoped for. And also these little bats will be cleared out. And now there's a heavy push coming in from Shadow towards Max's right side tower. Instant response here with another dragon. And the elixir golems will finally get a couple punches in on this. Still 35 seconds, and we're still running on double elixir. Let's see who's going to take that first tower, because it's still really tied up. This is anybody's game. 1300 HP on both of the right side towers. The left side's been completely ignored. We're just playing one side. We're not seeing any mirror type movements here. And a double dragon push. Running down to the last seconds, and if not a miracle's going to happen, we're going to head straight into sudden death. A little bit of a different approach here for the first game, you know, just seeing what's happening. And Shadow, I think Shadow has the upper hand. It looks like Shadow will be able to take down that tower. Max already popped out the well played, but his tower will still survive, and he's going for the counterattack. But there's a lot of elixir in Shadow's side, and he will try and give a good response here, but he knows, he actually feels like his game is already played here. And now the Witch is also making her way down the right side to the tower, but still gets taken down. There's an elixir golem coming in as well. And I think this is game here. I think Shadow will be taking the first match here. Slowly but surely, finally takes down that right side tower, and Shadow will take the first point here in this best of 5. And that was well, we could see a lot of action going on the right side with Shadow and Max just countering both sides' attacks pretty well at the start, but I think that the tempo and the pace just got a bit too much for Max to respond with his cards. And so Shadow found his openings and managed to take the first game. And then we're also back in the studio. We're going to wait 1 or 2 minutes until we get the next game up and running and keep you guys entertained with some great Clash Royale action. It's been a very interesting road here in this tournament as well, considering we've had a lot of great players. We've had a lot of pro players also competing here in this tournament, and only a few of them made it all the way to the end of the... Well, how would you put it? It's not even a bracket at that point, because it's a really a death match. It's a real scrap to get all the way to the end of the playoffs. And let's get into game 2. And let's see if Max is able to score any more extra points for himself. Another slow start once again. Are we going to go try the left side maybe this time? Nope. That's a little taunt there from Shadow. And a little engagement. The bats will go on both sides and will quickly be taken down by the archers. So nothing too special here. Very peaceful up till now. Only 100... bit over 100 damage dealt on that left side tower. Here we go. The Barbarian starting to roll down the right side. And look at that. It's our good old friend Sparky. There goes the first shot from Sparky. And that's going to be a very long recharge, but there are no other extra units to challenge this. And let's see if Max is going to drop a lot of units on the right side. Try and drop this Sparky down as quickly as possible. At least he manages to take down the Barbarian tower. A couple hits coming in onto Max's right side tower. That's a little shift of plans here from Shadow as he also heads towards the left side here. I've got a couple little piggies and boars coming in from that left side. And does quite a lot of damage onto Shadow. It's almost 500 that he got with that one small little push. As we're closing up on the final minute of play. The double elixir is going to kick in right now. Sparky's taking a couple of hits here, but instantly spawns himself a wizard to tank those hits. So Sparky stays alive for just a bit longer. Still alive, and a lot of Barbarians spawn around, but Sparky's not going to survive this one. And a snowball coming in here, as well as a lot of units. Good usage of the lightning there. Down to the last 30 seconds. Very different from the first game. Another board charge doing a bit more than 500 damage this time on the right side tower of Shadow. Is that a Goblin Ogre we spot here? The Barbarian camp. The Barbarian tower is going to take the majority of the hits while the Archer tower gets a few hits in. And with a snowball, we'll quickly finish off the Ogre. But a lot of units, and Max needs to respond, but it's too late for him to try anything against Shadow. And Shadow will take this series into 2-0. So only one more victory away from knocking out Max from the final chances for him. We could possibly also see a possibility of a little, what I would like to call a reverse sweep. But then again, Max is going to have to try and find some new tricks up his sleeve to try and answer Shadow's aggressive plays. But then again, it's been a lot of waiting between the both players. They're playing it slow, taking their time, trying to see what's going to be their final strat and how is the opponent going to try and respond to their gameplay. Because right now it's just waiting for both sides to make the first move and not really giving too much about their strat on how they're going to take the approach into the game. But it's 2-0 for Shadow now. And when you're up against the wall, you got to start pulling up some magic tricks up your sleeve. And Max, the guy who's had 21 victories and only 4 losses in this entire tournament, is now 1 match away from dropping into the bronze game. So we'll see what's going to happen in Game 3 between these two guys. Getting some signals from the producer that we're still slightly waiting for the third game to start. I'm very sorry if I'm being slightly clunky here because, it's been maybe a bit too long since my last Clash Royale cast. And, well, hopefully you guys are still at least enjoying the players and the games that's going on. So, third match right up on your screen right now. And now the third game is underway, and the waiting game commences. A lot of good moves from Max there in the second round. However, he just couldn't find enough openings to just punish Shadow for being on Shadow's side of the map. And just ended up losing his units maybe a bit too early when Shadow finally mustered up a lot of elixir, managed to get a really good counter push happening. And also on both sides that he had a little fake to the left side and then just massing all the way onto the right side and just crushing that tower down. What do we have in Max's deck this time? Because, the players are changing their decks a bit. Max tried to respond to Shadow and started to take some of his units. Very quick play here with Miner. Straight onto Shadow's left side Archer Tower. That's a couple hundred damage dealt. Let's see what we're going to see. Dragon's going to be tanking that tower for a bit and just soak up all the attention. The Barbarians trying to squeeze their way through, but these bats will just eat those poor little Barbarians alive. A little dragon spawning here from Max. A lot of units being thrown onto the field. There's a lot of elixir in Shadow's side, and he will just use his fireball to counter these two big units. And also the great thing here about the Barbarian towers, you've got those Barbarians just running right next to the dragon and pulling off aggro, so keeping the dragon busy, and he manages to keep his Barbarian camp alive as well with just a sliver of HP, and it will run out of time. But a couple of Barbarians coming in as well. However, Shadow hasn't really done that much damage on Max's left side. And this could potentially mean that we're going to go to a third sudden death, unless with this crazy charge coming in from Max, fireballs on both sides, and it's turning out into Max's favor. 1800 HP now. Still keeping up the pressure. Another Barbarian camp spawned. Dragon still continues to soak up hits. Finally ends up going down. And we're down to the last 10 seconds. It looks like we're going to go to a third sudden death. But is Shadow going to pull off a miracle here? He's been taking a lot of hits. Is he finally able to respond? A lot of Barbarians coming in from Max and Fireball. And it looks like Max has finally found his weapons. The dragon is, however, there, and the tower will also clear out these barbarians. They don't seem to be able to get a single hit in. And the battering ram is underway, but it gets destroyed just before hitting the tower. And another fireball coming in from Shadow. 1100 HP on that tower. Max is in really big trouble. He still has a couple units coming down onto Shadow's side, but they will not live to hit the tower a single time. And Max is still struggling to get that offense working on his favor. Another barbarian camp coming in. Dragons on both sides. Max is still relying on the power of these dragons to work for him. But right now, it looks like the dragons are just so much focused on all of these barbarians coming in. And they won't even get to the tower. There is a miner, though. But that miner will be taken down, and a great fireball from Shadow just evaporates everything Max had. And the battering ram will make it through, and 300 HP is all that separates these two, as Shadow is trying to go for another, maybe even a final push here with the bats. Another fireball, and I think with the next, it should be game over here, and Shadow is feeling himself. Another fireball from Max. And a miner will approach. 200 HP. This could still turn. And Max is panicking, but that fireball will finish off the job. That's GG. And Shadow, with a clean 3-0 sweep, will make his way into the final. It looked like we only had one player who had everything in his hands on whatever he wanted to do in this series. Congratulations to Shadow. We will see you in the finals, and Max will be playing in the bronze matchup. However, we're going to take a little break until we start our second semifinals of the day, so don't disappear anywhere. We'll be right back.
Fight!
Welcome back to the Ulti Clash League. We just saw our first semifinals, and we are just about ready to start our second. My name is T Panda, and I'm your caster and host for this finals day of the tournament. The second semifinals is just about ready to start, so let's go straight up to the player matchup. Hopefully soon. There we go. So we have Eternity going up against Predator, and if something really strikes your eye here, is that win percentage on our red player, the Belarusian player Predator, with 20 wins and only 8 losses in the course of this entire tournament. That is also a very, I could almost say that's a pretty sick statistic, but so did Max, and Max just got 3-0'd, and he went up all the way to the bronze matchup. And Mr. Producer, I have a little notification here on my screen, not sure about yours, but hopefully I don't lose my valuable stats. Because by the looks of it, the television decided to tell that I'm going to shut myself down. But hey, what wouldn't a online tournament be without a minor thing showing up on my screen? However, it it is. I mean, you guys can't see it, but I'm just being blocked on my screen by this huge blob. Thank God you guys can't see that. You can just enjoy Eternity's and Predator's stats here. However, the first pre-bans were, I'm not sure actually, are these the pre-bans or the actual bans just before the game. So the minor taken away from Eternity. and the Tornado, taken by Predator. And yes, I was told that these are the actual bans. The pre-bans hopefully will be showing to you in the actual in-game screen. Still waiting a bit until we get our second semi-final matchup underway, and we'll see who goes up against Shadow in our finals matchup. But these two guys will be competing of going in the finals and also at the end of our tournament point. But hey, we've got our first game already underway, so let's jump straight into the action. And a little slight surprise here as well, as we did not have to wait 1.5 minutes for the first player to make their move. But however, instead, we've got our action already rolling here in the first minute. And here we go with Eternity on the blue side and Predator on the red side. A little bit of dragon brawling here. Baby Dragon is not quite the matchup for the Knight. Good usage there of poison. We'll do a little bit of damage, build up damage onto that tower. 400 health lost. And now both players starting to slowly build up their elixir and take the second approach. A lot of cards have already been revealed. And Predator is deciding to go on the right side this time. Are we going to see some mirror movements by the likes of it? See a response, and look out. We've got big trouble heading up right into Eternity's side, and that lumbering giant will start to hit that tower, and he does a lot. The Valkyrie will quickly clear up the offense from Predator. The bats almost take down the Valkyrie, but the tower will finally finish off the job, so Predator will survive without any damage taken. The Barrel Barbarian. A little bit of quick taunt play here. That charge should probably take down these archers. And only use his shield. Continue to press the assault. Last 60 seconds of play. Another giant will be spawned. Valkyrie is in a bit of a trouble. Good usage of the poison there, though. Clears out all of those small bats. Snowball, but that snowball is not going to be quite enough. And another, that is actually a very good counter poison used by Predator. And that toxic acid will do a lot of damage. Not quite enough though. Dragon still continues to lumber on. This time the baby dragon shows that he is ferocious enough to keep on going. Has to match up against another dragon while Predator is pushing on the left side. Maybe a little bit of a taunt play. Good uses of the skeleton army there. Not actually a huge amount. A little bit of small skeletons there. You can bait a couple hits. But still, anybody's game here. Good push from Eternity on the left side, but his right side tower also taking damage. He's still now below 1,000 HP. There's a miner as well, but that miner will be cleared out up to 900. And now Eternity going for the push. Does have an almost full HP tower against him. So I think he will be setting eyes on the left side tower. 1,400 HP to clear down, and a big giant. Eternity forced to use a lot of resources, and this might just be the push, but is it gonna be enough? The Valkyrie will hit the miner down. And 600 HP. Also 500 on Eternity's left side. He is in trouble as Predator. Keep up the push. Not quite enough damage on that left side. 1,000 HP, 900 now. Another dragon. And I think Predator is moving in for the kill. And both sides are just going ham on the left and the right. Who's going to take down the tower first? It looks like Predator might just be able to take it. The snowball is going to slow them down a bit, but it is not enough. And Predator will take the first match here in this best of 5 in the second semifinal series of this day in Eternity. He was close, but not close enough on clutching against Predator. Good display of skill from both players, and a very, very interesting ending in there as well, as both sides were trying to fight down. It was almost like mirror type movement where the blue player going for the left side tower and the red player going for the right side. But Predator just had the stronger units, and, you know, you've only got a limited amount of elixir to try and counter those plays from your opponent. So that was a tight match. I'm really looking forward to what's going to happen in Game 2. We've got a lot of action going on here, and two very good players coming up against each other. We can actually take a quick sneak peek again at these matchups between these two players and look a bit around their statistics, because now in the lead is Predator, winning Game 1. And I don't actually know how much of a winning streak he has ongoing. But let's see if it continues for Game 2 as we are ready to roll. The classic snowball start from Predator. Slight little brawl there in the middle side, or the middle area of the map there. Very minor damage dealt. A little bit of changes in both decks as well. Almost feels like they knew what their opponent was going to go for the second game. That lightning only interrupts Predator's unit for a very small time, but still manages to get the hit off and hit the tower. Quick usage of bats flying in. All will be cleared out. Gotta have something bulky to protect them to get a couple hits. Here comes the Dark Prince. That Prince will also be quickly cleared out. Also, what really strikes me in the eye here is Predator is actually playing a very low elixir build here. So he could potentially just start spamming out units once that 1 minute mark hits the game. Well, we've got a couple more heavier units on Eternity's side. It is working out pretty well for him. The Fireball clears out the units, trying to take down that Goblin Ogre. Sometimes size doesn't matter as the small goblins take down the bigger one. 1500 HP on Eternity's left archer tower. And it is definitely looking like the target. And here we go. Let's go Sparky. Any Team Sparky fans out there? He's trying his best, but that tower is still in trouble. And now below 1000 HP. Sometimes acid is enough to melt steel beams. I don't know about jet fuel though. There we go, the Goblin Ogre with the backup of the Sparky. They're trying to keep the Sparky alive, and if this Sparky, I know I'm hyping him out a lot, but if this guy manages to get a big hit on the tower, which is, by the looks of it, very unlikely, we can say goodbyes to our little friend. Down to the last 10 seconds, and a scary push coming in from Predator. He doesn't have a lot of elixir to use, so is this going to be enough? 800 and counting. 600 looking very, very close here. And Eternity just can't get his offense. He just cannot make anything happen here. Another Sparky spawn. And as you can see from the cards being played, the smaller elixir build is really working out for Predator here. With all this mass that he's throwing at these heavy hitters from Eternity, they're just getting cleared out, and they don't get to use their full potential. And now it might just be the last push here is Predator throwing everything he has onto that the left side tower, and Eternity's only got 67 HP remaining. So he will survive with a thread, and now it's all in. It's either go home or take the spoils of war, but there we see it. The Toxic will finally burn down the structure. And Predator makes it 2-0. And very decisive here, and very good play being shown here by the Belarusian boy. Predator is looking literally like a god, like his Twitter handle says. Wonder what's going to happen in Game 3. Are we going to see another 3-0? Are we maybe going to see a little bit of response? It's going to be a pretty rocky ride and a really tough matchup to go up against, but by the looks of it, if Predator keeps on going like this, he will really challenge Shadow in the finals. Both players potentially going in with a clean sweep into the finals, but you know, either of these players, well, the series is still going on, but hypothetically, one of these players is going to lose one of their games and lose their streak. But game 3 might be the last one. Let's go. It is time to show some support in chat for the Team Liquid Eternity. If you guys are supporting this man, you better show it now because he needs it. He needs it right now. Otherwise, he will drop down to the bronze matchup. 2 great players and only one will make it all the way to the end. Potentially even win the entire tournament. It could be either of these 2 guys. Predator already shown that he can use a different type of elixir build, and he can pull it off if he has big units, if he has smaller units, doesn't matter. The first minute closing up on being played already, both left side towers down by 500 HP. Predator's right side has taken a bit more though. A little preemptive rocket there. Didn't quite see if it actually caught anything. Was that just a bait or a taunt? But both players now filled up on elixir. Units being spawned on the left side. Advantage here from this ballista. The ballista tower is still up and running. A lot of free hits coming in too. Just completely aggro. I mean, Predator, you gotta do something soon. I mean, that ballista just did 800 damage in one row. And this would be a great moment to play some Jeopardy music as we wait once again. 10 seconds until the double elixir is going to kick in. One more of those ballistas should just do the trick. Here we go, the last minute. Just kicked up. Musketeer coming from Eternity. Coming in. Hit the smaller ones. A little rolling log there. Not going to do quite enough damage. Does maybe just enough. And that elixir factory, that's exactly what Predator's been targeting with those rockets. I finally managed to catch a glimpse on what is he actually using it on. But those are, you have to be super quick on response with those. There's the ballista tower, once again. Once again, it looks like Predator is now on the defense. Very scary moves in the final seconds coming in. And we are once again in sudden death. Is Eternity going to be able to try, not exactly tie or draw this series, but actually try and catch up to Predator's 2-0 lead? But he is working out this offense just so well. Like even if he is losing all of his elixir towers, he's forcing Predator to use 6 elixir with the rockets to instantly destroy it, so they're counteracting each other's. There goes the ballista tower, and Predator's got a couple units rolling in. Only a couple elixir for Eternity, but he manages to hold the advance from Predator's units and the Musketeer to help him out. 700 HP. On Predator's left side Archer tower. Keeping the enemy at bay. Another Digger coming in. 400 HP. Whoa! What was that? And that rocket should just do it! There we have it! I have no bloody idea what the hell just happened, but Predator just shifted the momentum. Eternity, he looked like he had everything in his hands. And suddenly Predator just changes it completely, and he manages to sweep Eternity 3-0. So the Team Liquid representative is out, and he will be playing in the bronze match. But Predator, good luck beating this guy. I mean, he just showed a great dominance, a great amount of so much experience from this man, and he has deserved his spot in the finals. But whatever. We only have one more series remaining, so the finals will start shortly, so we'll be back soon. Welcome back once again, and we have one more series here remaining in the Ulti Clash League. My name is T-Panda, I'm your host and your caster for today. We've seen two great semi-final series, both ending 3-0, and now we have our final match, and it is a best of 7. Let's see who are going up against each other in the playoff match. So we have Shadow and we have Predator, and hopefully we'll get the statistics. There we have them right away. So Shadow going 3-0, and Predator did exactly the same. And he has had a enormously great tournament so far, and Shadow also pulling off an upset against Max, who had a fantastic statistic as well, only losing 4 games and then losing 3 games straight in a row. So he almost doubled that statistic, where Predator did not lose a single game here, and he is pulling to be a very strong competitor here for Shadow, representing Outplayed, and Predator representing Tenerife Titans. As you can see, the bans on the screen, the Baby Dragon and the Electro Wizard will be removed from this series. And of course, as a BO7, we can only wonder who is going to take the victory in this first tournament. Let's make our way into the first game. If my producer is showing me the exact signal, still waiting for it. Wait for it, guys. You always should wait for what is the best to come, because it doesn't get better than this, considering Clash Royale. We've got a great matchup, and here we go into the first game of this best of 7, the championship match, and only one will be crowned as the champion of the tournament. A lot of low elixir units thrown in from both players. A little bit of action happening here. And very minor damage onto Shadow on his right side tower. Shadow, of course, playing on the blue, and Predator has the red on the top side. Maybe Shadow has shifted a little bit in his deck. He's got a mixture of mid-range elixir units, maybe a couple heavies. And a great usage here from Predator, who just seems to be sticking to these low elixir builds to counter up these heavy hitters. Survives unscathed and not really losing any HP on either of his towers. And now waiting for the next move to happen. Gotta watch out for those bombers, so he will quickly use these goblins to evaporate those. Miner. And on the other side of the tower, Shadow spawning his unit. So that miner gets a couple extra hits on that right side. A bomb tower. Doesn't quite... Well, good usage here to at least taunt and bait his opponent, but that whirlwind will force the king to be attacked. And the king, of course, with his mortar, he's not very happy with seeing somebody encroaching in his kingdom, and so Predator would quickly have a response for that. But however, goblins coming now in on the left side, a little small attack from here. And the final minute also starts with the double elixir kicking in. Predator taking the advance on the left. Quick response. Very slow units here. Couple goblins coming in. A musketeer spawn in the middle for Shadow. Decides to go on the left, however. And a single skeleton bomber manages to make her way through. And now we've got a real big mayhem here. The Hurricane will slow down Shadow's advance for now, but Predator, he's on the defense and he's pulling it off. A lot of damage there onto Shadow's units, and manages to get some of them through as well. The Musketeer, however, is proving to be a bit stronger here than these other ground units. And you guessed it, folks, we're going into sudden death once again. So no decisive moves have happened yet. This bomb tower from Predator. A bit of trouble here. They're kind of stuck on his own end. Predator's already lost 1500 HP. And also 800 respectively on both towers. And the Bombers make their way through, doing a lot onto Shadow. If he gets one more pincer move just like that, it just could turn into Predator's advantage. And now a great big push coming in from Shadow, trying to fight back Predator in his own lands. Another bomb exploding there, but no units to be hit this time. And look at that. Oh, that was so close. And Shadow pulls out a really good drop there, just managing to destroy the Bombardiers before they hit the tower and turning it into his advantage. And now we're already in triple elixir. I think this is the first time we get into this stage. And now is the point where your fingers really start to hurt. And it's all mayhem from here. Shadow with a good push. Quickly countered by the Hurricane. A lot of units now on the right side. Another miner coming in quickly. Trying to intercept the miner, but the miner manages to make his way through. Bomb tower is having his hands filled. Seems like Predator is actually holding the defense here. That Musketeer will be the last thing remaining, and another big unit coming in from Shadow. And also more units coming in from Predator to just hold these big guys in place. Oh boy. I only wonder what's going to happen here in the final seconds as more and more massive units, or more mass units, so to say, are being pushed in. And this let's see what happens here. The tiebreaker will end up going for Predator, as his towers had slightly more HP than what Shadow had. And so that could not have been any closer than what it was. So Predator takes game 1 in this best of 7. So what he needs is 3 more to win. Shadow has been changing his deck a little bit, trying to pull off some good moves with a mixture of high elixir, mid elixir, and also a couple low units, where Predator just doesn't want to change his strat at all. He's using a lot of low elixir units and keeps massing units and also getting very crucial points. You know, the placement is so important here with some of the units that he's throwing in. If he can get a couple to tank some of the hits coming in from Shadow, then he can maybe get those Bombardiers through. And like he did, that one push did a lot of damage, and maybe he can do it again. Let's see if they've changed their decks for game 2. Will be a surprise for us as we see as the game progresses. But game 2 coming up your way right now. Now with the anticipation and the wait game. A very standard start with snowballs and a couple bats thrown in. Let's see what kind of reveals we're going to see here. Shadow wants to stick to that Musketeer. It's a very nasty asset that will kill the Musketeer. They'll also do a bit of damage on the tower. And our good old friend Sparky back in action, back in play. And this is something that Predator's going to have to respond to. Maybe with some, not necessarily mass units, but Skeleton Graveyard. That is actually doing a lot of work here. That is doing way more than what it probably should have. But using Sparky, taking up 6 elixir and instantly trying to throw in a Musketeer when the enemy uses a Graveyard, that changes a whole lot of things. And 800 damage, or 700 actually to be more precise, onto Shadow's right side. And still no damage dealt to Predator. Man from Belarus looking really strong in this matchup. Could he have the potential to go all the way to be crowned champion of the Ulti Clash League? Going over. Shadow on the right side. Now another Graveyard on the left. And this Prince is in trouble. He's just being constantly aggroing all of these skeletons coming in from the ground. And 1,000 damage dealt. But the Goblin Ogre is also doing a lot of work. And the Prince is also now getting a couple of hits in. And the Spear Goblin's now focusing on the right. And Predator, he thought he had the advantage, but that was a really smart play from Shadow to punish the use of all of that elixir thrown in by Predator and quickly going on the counter offensive. Sparky this time going on the right instead of the left. And another graveyard, and that first tower, that will melt down. So Predator takes down the first. We might even potentially see a second tower fall. We've only seen one fall in every single game so far. And there we have it. Shadow ties it up 1-1. His base has taken a lot of damage. We got a Goblin Ogre coming in, and also a good fireball. And look at that, it might just go down. The base is really falling down. And just like that, it is so close. 230 HP, or 229 even. I don't think Shadow needs to do a lot of effort here. A couple fireballs should just do the trick. So Predator, what are you gonna do? He's going all in on this push. The fireball will do it, and just like that, Predator runs out of time, and Shadow ties this series 1-1, and this was the quickest game we've had so far. What a crazy display of skill from Shadow here, as we already thought, or at least I thought, that Predator had the upper hand with the usage of his graveyards and doing crazy amounts of damage and forcing his opponent to use, once again, those big units to focus on mass units and holding them in place and doing a lot of damage at the same time while preparing for a counteroffensive. But he was not prepared for Shadow's crazy push. And he was already like, I know, I'm going to take this left side tower for myself, but sacrificing my right as a return, he's okay with that. But what happened after, he was totally not prepared for that. So hands down, Shadow did some really great plays in Game 2. Game 3 is almost right behind the corner. And yeah, well, I was already getting debated here that we're going to see Game 3. But of course, let's admire these two gentlemen. They have fought their way all the way to the finals, and they're really giving a display. Both have now lost, and both have now won also one game each. So both of the streaks, the win streaks, are down. Predator and Shadow both going from 3-0 to now a tie 1-1. So at this point, the best of 7 turns into a best of 5. So only a few more games required until this tournament comes to an end and the next victory shows up. So wonder what we're going to have behind the corner. Really good moves here. A lot of people playing in this tournament already mentioned that we had a couple or actually several pros playing in the tournament. 17, which is a complete 8% of the people, and now we're down to 2 of the best. So I think without further ado, let's see what Game 3 has in store for us. Both players are now throwing out their low elixir units. Right away to start the game. See, I honestly have to admit, I do not know the name of that unit that Predator just threw out on the board. But that is something that we haven't seen all day long. I think that is the Fisherman. I think it definitely is the Fisherman. The balloon will be cut off and all units will be evaporated. Even though the bomb is not quite required here for that. We're back into stalemate. Still plenty of time to go. 2 minutes still remaining in Game 3. Before we start heading into double and triple elixirs. Spear Goblins spawned out, but the bats... Maybe actually no. The Spear Goblins do survive. This is a really good placement here from this mortar. However, I think the mortar will be sacrificed. Can't really shoot from that close range. Well, the mortar decides to throw that little Hadouken, or could you even say a little suicide bomb there for himself. He did explode, but at least he got the shot out in time, you know. Gotta make him count. Predator going on the offensive. Quick response coming in from Shadow. There's a lot of defensive units here. Fisherman also cleared out. Now the giant skeleton making his way towards the left. Goblin spears. Not really doing that much damage. I wonder if that bomb's going to catch all 3. Only catches one of those gobos. The goblins also making their way through the right. Rocket thrown down. It doesn't connect on the skeleton, though. And the big skelly boy. Spooky, scary skeletons leaving bombs behind. And that should also blow up one of the units, and the miner gets one hit onto Predator. Shadow has already lost almost 1200 HP on the left side, so he needs to start putting up the advantage into his favor. And that bomb should catch most of the goblins. It actually catches all of them. But Predator is also open for an advance. And that one single skeleton is pulling away most of the flying units here from Predator. Another fisherman coming in. Sudden death. Wonder if Shadow... Let's see what he's gonna pull off here. I don't think he can really hold this left side at all. There's a lot of goblins to be fighting against. Once again, the air balloon, the rocket. The rocket just does enough damage to clear out the left side tower, and Predator will take the series 2-1, and he is once again back in the lead. However, Shadow, he did have a couple tricks up his sleeve, but not enough. I think he's toyed enough with his prey and wants to start closing up this series against Shadow. 2-1, as we soon have game 4, but that is still behind the corner, so let's head back here into the studio. Predator now 2 games away from being crowned champion of the Ulti Clash League. Wonder if he will be the first champion in the history of this Clash Royale tournament to be crowned as victor. Or will Shadow still prove that he has some fight left in him? Because game 2 was so much different from game 3. Where Shadow just felt like he was a bit underwhelming even in this case, because he couldn't pull off any good offensive moves. He was forced to respond to everything that Predator wanted to do. Predator was even sending a couple units of goblins going on the right side, even though they would get destroyed by the Archer Tower. But just having the game entirely in his favor and whatever he wanted to do, it just seemed like he had control, and he wants to dominate his opponent as much as he wants to. But we'll see if that story is going to continue. It's now 2-1 in this series. Wonder if it's going to be 3-1, or are we back to a tie? Let's see. Game 4 underway. And once again, the calmness of silence. Only a couple units thrown in. And we see the return of the dragon. Rocket will connect both of the dragon and the tower. Crazy amounts of damage here with just the use of a single rocket, but you cannot just spam them, otherwise you are left completely defenseless. Someone might say offense is the best defense. It doesn't always go like that. Look at that perfect timing. Oh, that was so close. He could have almost done a huge amount of damage on the right side of Shadow, but instead, looks like he's almost entirely left unanswered. Shadow has a crazy good push happening and forcing Predator to respawn. He's got a lot of elixir to use here, and he will counter the offensive. And at the same time, as he is repelling his enemies on the left side, 2 of the skeletons blow themselves up and do more hits onto Shadow's right tower, which is now below 1000 HP. I don't think he can hold another one of those pushes with a combined rocket. That could just be an easy crown for Predator. Wonder if he can pull it off. Is he going to do a mirror play here this time? Maybe shift his offense on the left. And what is Shadow going to pull off? He does have units rolling on the left, so maybe not this time. Skeleton army? Not even skeleton army, just all the skeletons running in. Quickly blown up. And Predator tried to do the same, but he was instantly countered by the rolling barbarian. Elixir golem. Good use of the rocket. Rocket launcher unit. The hard game is actually pulling units more together. And now Shadow finally gets his chance to respond. A lot of healing coming here from this combat healer. And the dragon is still up, and there's also an elixir golem kicking in. 30 seconds. What a perfect rocket. But is it enough? He's just trying to keep these golems from hitting the tower, and now the small golems with the dragon. Predator will lose this left tower, will he? 500 HP, 400 and counting. And the dragon has his attention elsewhere. Instead, Predator pulls off a miracle, takes down 3 seconds. Golem, can he do it? I don't think he can. And Predator, with just an inch, he survives and pulls a victory 3-1. And I can only feel Shadow at this point. He must be feeling really disappointed because that was so close to being pulled off into sudden death and by a little bit of extra time. That could have been anyone's game. But game 4 for Predator, now 1 game away from being crowned champion of the tournament. Is game 5 going to be the miracle for him? We'll see in just a bit. It seems like there's no stopping Predator at this point. He is on fire. This man is enjoying the game. He's having so much fun while controlling his opponent and just brings out so many nimble and really good moves at the same time as Shadow has already thought he has counterplayed his opponent when Predator pulls out some kind of counter move at the same time. So you try and go into this mastermind's head. I mean, I can't even follow at that point what he's planning on doing on his next move, what he wants to do. But right now, Predator is looking super strong. Shadow, he's going to have to win 3 games back-to-back to take a victory 4-3. It's 1-3, and Predator only needs that 1 victory, and this entire tournament will come to an end at that point. We'll see if Game 5 truly is the trick for this man. We still have to wait a little bit until we have that game to show for you guys. At the same time, Ulti Esports throwing out this crazy tournament, and thanks for having me here as a caster. This is actually really cool to be casting Clash Royale after such a long break from this game. But quality action is definitely what this tournament has proved. Game 5, let's head in there and see what these guys got. Instant quick skeleton army here to counter the miner, and isn't able to take down one of those skeletal bombers. Around 300 HP taken away from the tower from Shadow. Sparky is back on the field. And I think with mass units and the Sparky, it could be a good move. But then again, you've got a bomb tower. And those skeletons will be quickly evaporated unless he's able to get them surrounding that tower. The Giant will have no problems taking it out. Good use of the Hurricane, keeping the Sparky away, also pulling the Giant backwards. So Predator buys himself a little bit of extra time. And there we go, the move from the right side. He's got those skeletons coming in, and Shadow has nothing on them, and they will make it through, but at the same time, Shadow takes down the first tower of the game 1 minute and 10 seconds in. And now with less than 2 minutes, almost half of the game has now been played. Predator has been surprised by his opponent. He has been surprised once in this series. Is there going to be a second one? Shadow must be feeling really happy knowing that he bought himself a bit of extra time. And he win this. Musketeer tanking the miner. Good use of the arrows. Will quickly clear out the bombers. 1 minute and 15 seconds. The best thing about a game that is made by Finns is having Finnish voice lines in a game played all around the world. That is something that I really admire. It's something that, you know, we're proud as a nation. We're proud as people. We love to have ourselves on the map. The South Park said that we don't exist. There we go. Another bomber. No, doesn't quite make it out, though. 1,500 HP on Shadow's left side tower. He will survive for now, but there's a Giant. There's a Sparky coming in, too. Sparky has been interrupted. The Giant pushed back. Oh, that is such a beautiful Hurricane. The Sparky also moved at the same time as the Giant, but then again, the Sparky blow is right there. And that was less than half a second away from being blown up, but he hits Predator, and this is almost looking like Shadow taking this game 5. So it was not the miracle that Predator was hoping for. Shadow is back, and this man is proving to be a valiant opponent here with Belarusian. The Romanians are living and holding, and he will savor these last moments as Shadow takes game 5 and now squeezes the difference into only one match. Predator still that one game away from victory, but Shadow, he snatches like a thief in the night. He takes away a point from Predator, and this is back again to anybody's series. Are we going to go to a full game 7 in this series, or will it be closed down in a tie situation, or maybe the next? We're only anticipating and waiting at this point. I can see my producer guys are smiling there as well with my crazy appearance here and whatever Finnish nationality jokes I want to throw in. I'm a really bad storyteller. I'm also super bad with humor. But hopefully you guys have been enjoying this crazy good gameplay of Clash Royale. It's been like, these have been so many good games today. The semifinals both going 3-0, and now this final proves to be even better than what we could have probably even expected for. I mean, who doesn't love seeing a series going all the way to the last game? And we still got a couple ahead. Maybe the next one is the last one. Game 6 is our next game. So a potential second last or our last game between Shadow and, of course, our Belarusian Predator. And once again, you might want to take a quick glimpse on how these two players have fared in this tournament so far. Shadow going a 3-0 into semifinals, but still overall inside the tournament 17-11. Not the best win percentage, but it's still positive, and it's pulled them all the way through to the finals, whereas Predator, 71% win rate. It is crazy and immense. Game 6, people, get yourselves ready. It's right now. Another 3 minutes of tight-packed action here in the Clash Royale Ulti Clash League Finals. The Grand Finals, this best-of-7 series now 2-3 in favor for Predator. And we are almost getting the ending that we deserve. But is this the ending or the not? Is this the start of a new beginning? Who knows? Very cautious start from both. 3 cards shown on both sides. More bats coming in from Predator. Musketeers going to be clearing them out really quickly. However, there is... Didn't quite see what was blocking their way there. A miner, a defensive miner actually in this case. Used as a straight up charge. And there come the bombers. But this time they are counted by the goblins. The knives are too pointy, too sticky, and they hurt. Even if skeletons are only made of bones, those explosives should not make their way until the end. They're going to blow up anyway. 1.5 minutes almost left. We're halfway. And now Shadow has actually bought himself a couple bombers for himself. Neither of them makes their way to Predator's towers. One of Predator's bats, however, does get their way. Magic archer here going up against the musketeer. This really big armored thug, this big bandit boy, is just having fun. The Valkyrie, however, pulls out the long straw. Where are we going to see the decisive? Maybe the decisive error from either player. They're both very cautious. I almost feel like they're feeling a little bit stressed out at this point. The series has been going on for quite long. A best of 7. You know, these are 3-minute games, sometimes 4-minute games, maybe even 5 at some points. But you have to take into account that these guys are pulling off moves, and they're thinking the whole time what they want to do, what they want to make as their next move. And neither of them is pulling off any reasonable damage. Now Shadow on the defensive from Predator, and the bombers make their way through. And that was just, once again, it almost seems like a classic move from Predator at this point, as he's moving the bombers to the right, when Shadow has made his offensive play on the left side. using a lot of his elixir and just unable to fight back. Now he's throwing units on both sides. Waiting for the bombers. There we have the bombers. They will show up, but they're just used as a quick bait. They want to keep up that bomber tower up. And it will remain. Predator. Got a lot of units coming in. A couple goblins. One miner there. Archer. A couple hits in. All of those magical arrows. A decent amount of damage on Shadow's inside tower. The bombard tower is just about to run out. Where are the bombers this time? There we go. There are the bombers. Can they be stopped? Shadow gets one. The archer tower gets the second one. And it is almost tied at this point. 1600 and 1800 on both sides of the map. This is honestly, this is anybody's game. At this point, I'm not even going to stage what's going to happen. Full elixir and Shadow. Now throws in a couple units. Focusing on the right. Got a couple on the left too. There we have the goblin response coming in from Predator. A couple bats thrown in as well. And the bomber tower will fall. And there are the bombardiers coming in, but they will be taken out. The miners there too, but on the left, on the top left, Predator's tower at 1000 HP. And Shadow wants to take that right side. It's down to 300 HP. It is so close to being evaporated. And Predator, you gotta think fast. You gotta move fast. What are you gonna do? But you definitely gotta go fast at this point. The Musketeer in the middle of the map. The Bombardiers coming in, but they're both cleared out. The Goblins coming now in. And the Rogue is being also backing them up and trying to reinforce the attack from Shadow on the left. The Musketeer in trouble. Goblins are also flying through. The Miner from Predator doing a bit of damage, but not enough. It's now down to 1000 and 1400. I have a feeling that Shadow is gonna pull it off. Or is he? He is focusing on the responses from Predator at the same time as the offensive is coming in. And the tiebreaker, I think you guessed it. We are going to a game 7. Shadow pulls off the upset, and it is a tie series. It is time for a best of 1. One more game remaining, and that was probably, well, at the start, it was really shaky on whatever's going to happen with Shadow and Predator, but in the end, Shadow proved himself stronger, and he just controlled Predator really well. He is reading his bombers coming in from the right side. He sees what he's already thinking, and it feels like Shadow was one step ahead of his opponent in this Game 6. Game 7. Game 7, folks. It is something that maybe someone thought about, that these two guys are going to go all the way to the end, and we are definitely going to see a thriller here with these two boys. The Belarusian versus the Romanian. Who's going to be the victor? Who's going to be the champion? Only one more game, and this tournament will come to an end. It has been a pleasure to cast this and be a part of this tournament here for the last day. I did not get myself a co-caster, so I'm holding on to a thread that I can keep myself together and pull off this show for you guys that you deserve to see, because these are some great Clash Royale games that we have seen today, and only one more remains. So thanks to Ulti Esports, and let's maybe... I see my producer throwing in his fist in the air like, come on, just shut up already and let's get this game rolling. But I think the admins are a bit disagreeing with that because we want to get that game underway. But hey, I think it's showtime, and let these two guys decide what happens. The game we have all been waiting for, and the game that will decide Shadow's and Predator's fate in the championship match. I wonder if we're going to see something we haven't seen before. Is this when you go for your cheese strats and show something that you haven't been using in your tournaments before? What is your opponent thinking? Are you even thinking about your opponent at this point, or are you just going to humiliate them in your own manner? But there we have Sparky, and the Musketeer survives the rocket. Maybe a little misplay from Predator, because that was one block away from hitting both, but the Musketeer gets a few hits in. However, both right side towers sitting at 1800 HP. And we are down to 2 minutes before we have a potential sudden death. Let's see if somebody, Shadow or Predator, has something else in their mind if they want to close this game already before the time runs out. The Giant lumbering his way on the right. I wonder who has the bigger foot, the Yeti or the Giant. Well, the Giant he's just a, you know, he's just a little lumbering bug. Like, I don't care, I'm just gonna stroll my way down here. They see me rolling, he's just walking through. All the way just ignores everything. He sees a tower. He wants the tower, he wants to hug it. Didn't quite get there so far. And the tower will finish up this one remaining unit. And now, Shadow sitting on full elixir here. Skeleton army coming in. The rocket launcher and Predators should hold them back. Very good clear. And here come the Bombardiers. And they almost make their way through. They get countered by a hail of arrows. And now Predator is shifting his offense on the right. He's trying to get his bombers on the left. And the Giant is pulling a lot of attention. And a very good log use from Predator here, clearing out the skeleton army completely. Now the bats are in trouble. Can they finish off the bombers? They can't. And there's also another unit attacking on Shadow's right side tower. So the tempo is increasing, and Predator has not taken that much damage. So Shadow, can he pull it off? Or is Predator just going to march to victory? As we are heading to sudden death, and we are talking about the final seconds of this tournament coming into an end here in this championship match, as the Musketeer trying to make his way through. The Mini Peck also getting hit a bit by the log on that left side tower. Now less than half. The rocket doesn't hit the tower, but it does take down the Sparky. Now the Miner getting a few hits in. The Giant making his way through. Only gets one hit in and then gets removed. Mini P.E.K.K.A. I think Predator has it. I don't think you can stop this. The rocket launcher is doing work, but it's hitting the wrong targets. It's not hitting the mass units. There we go. Finally gets them cleared out. A couple set of bats coming in. Another log. And a Giant to quickly halt the advance here from Predator. Mini P.E.K.K.A. is trying to take that Giant down. Finally will. Here comes the bombers. Skeleton army quickly trying to get those hitbox blocks, and it works out perfectly. And a good last push maybe from Shadow, but the rocket finishes the job, and Predator is your Ulti Clash League Season 1 champion. Congratulations to Predator, and of course to Shadow for a valiant effort. A fantastic series, but only one could take the prize of victor, and this time it is Predator. Well done. Game 7 victory. You couldn't have hoped for a better ending. But that also means we are slowly coming to a close. So let's wrap up the show in the studio. Thank you everybody who have been watching the Ulti Clash League. It has been a pleasure to see all you guys show up to watch some great Clash Royale. Thank you to Ulti Esports for having me here as well. My name is T Panda. You can follow me on Twitter at T_PandaDota if you enjoyed the cast. We did have a pretty rocky start, but I think we got warmed up pretty well till the end of this tournament. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for having us. I hope you guys have a pleasant end of the week. Keep playing Clash Royale. Keep staying cool. We'll see you next time. Thank you, and bye-bye.
Fight!